All right, everybody, not fast dot, but soulbound token passed, and it is live in the wild with I Am Human. There's OG SBTs, there's Vibe SBTs coming out. There's a bunch of SBTs, and you can see that on IamHuman.app. But the problem is, we can't really see those SBTs anywhere on our wallets, on our indexers, on our marketplaces, and we need people to implement that. And some people had some questions about implementations. And so, yeah, Robert and Jane from the NDC, Robert's the author of this standard, are here to answer any questions and kind of do a deep dive into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Robert, would you like to describe the interfaces and the indexer changes? And I will provide some recommendations on the UI in terms of what we should show in the wallets.
Sure. But before starting, I would say that we would like to probably create some a group, maybe I don't know, like a live document, or maybe just reutilize GitHub issues with like everything related to questions and answers. Maybe the best place will be the I Am Human repo, where those questions can be like posted. I mean, just like trying to find out what would be the best solution where we can do the collaboration. If not, there is the Telegram group that could be also a good place. But as we know, Telegram doesn't work well if someone wants to like see what were the questions and then like go back. Those get very quickly diluted with tons of other chats. So open to any suggestion, like write us in the Telegram, DM me, or like pass it through like any of the other group members. If not, I really suggest like stick to the GitHub, the I Am Human GitHub. All right. So today most of the wallets, yes, they support fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens. There is the Lake Indexer, which parses the events and knows about particular token through an event. So there is nothing complex here to add SBT. SBT is just another token from the high level perspective, like the minting and getting this SBT is very similar to an NFT or a fungible token. Yeah, so there is a mint event being emitted whenever a user receives the SBT. And yeah, there's a couple of lines of code, yes, to copy and adapt. We have reference implementation. So that code can be imported or basically copied to parse those events and put them into Indexer. Would be great to have such a collaboration. I'm very happy to help. So if there is like anyone from Indexer team or from Wallet team listening this, let's catch up and let's add it soon, because soon there will be a New YorkCon, and I Am Human and the governance is going to be a very important part of it. And by the way, yes, today the support is on our website, on I Am Human website, as well as on the Pikes Peak indexer. So you can use any of it to see if you have an SBT. However, we would really like that all the other wallets will catch up and add the support as well. You can use Pikes Peak indexer if needed. Ideally, yes, you basically also like listen for the events from the SBT contracts, and that would be good enough.
Yeah, and let me just share the Pikes Peak indexer. It's in the documentation here. doc.pikespeak.ai.
Yeah, so currently the Pikes Peak indexer only listens for our registry. if anyone would like to create his own registry for whatever reason, then PikeSpeak won't index that. So yes, for the wallets, probably it's really good to like listen on all the possible events in exactly the same way how the fungible and NFT tracking is done.
You need to use their API though, like for the store.
Yes,
Sorry?
you need a API key for this to work.
Okay. And then you guys can also natively implement just using like the near API JS too, right?
Yes, absolutely. For that, we have documentation. So if you go to I Am Human and then learn more, that takes you to our docs. And there is something called SBT gating. I'm sharing the link here. So you can, instead of using the indexer, you can also directly call the registry if you like. SBT gating for partners. So, yep. You can call the registry or use the indexer from PikeSpeak.
Is the I Am Human app also on the GitHub? Like this is that you implemented that?
It's I Am Human -app. That is a DM.
Okay. Yeah, and then can you kind of go over a little bit about so I have a question about, okay, so say I deploy my own SBT contract and it follows the interface. Like how does a wallet support any SBT contract that's in somebody's wallet? Like what's the most efficient way to do that outside of like just checking individual contracts or using like PikeSpeak? Did you hear me? Hello?
Sorry, what's the question?
So it was like, say I deploy my own SBT contract using like 393, and how is a wallet outside of like supporting the human SBTs and the NDC SBTs that are classes on like the registry? Like how do we just do general SBT support? Like what's the most efficient way to index all NEP393
events? Yes, just listening for events. So it's exactly the same way how fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens are done. You basically listen for all the events, yes, for every block, and try to parse it if it matches the SBT standard event. So the SBT standard have a spec, has like a concrete type, concrete name, and it will only like parse successfully, right, when it's a correct SBT event. And all the events you don't even need to like parse the transaction. You only need to parse the events, and this will give you like all the data you need to know who has what SBT.
Okay. And do you have does PikeSpeak have a roadmap for when if they're going to do the entire SBT approach, or is it?
I don't think they will. Yes, because it's PikeSpeak is more, let's say, a dedicated solution, right? So like we would need to pay them for every contract they would like to parse. So they charge per contract, right, or per functionality here, which means that like it's not on the business model, right? Like to parse the whole blockchain, let's say kind of for free.
Okay. What about like Pagoda and like Query API or like what's is there?
Yeah. So that's what I mean, in fact, like looking at, try to like connect with them. So they offer the like, you know, the Explorer, the near, the indexer behind it. Many wallets is using it. So if they will add support for that, then wallets which are using that indexer will directly have a support for it as well.
Okay. Jonathan, you're here from Miner Wallet, Meteor Wallet. What's you were talking about encryption and working on it afterward. Do you guys have any questions about this implementation or is this on your product backlog or sprint backlog? And just for context, the elections are happening on September 8th at near APAC too. So that's also a big kind of date for SBT and SBT they're rolling out till then. But yeah, do you have like any insight on that?
About the governance, launching the governance?
I just wanted some info from Jonathan, whether this was on their backlog. He's from Meteor Wallet.
Yeah, I mean, just from our side, it hasn't been. Definitely going to take the notes here and push it to. I mean, you know, Edward and Paul will be the main guys to speak this out and put it on the board. But yeah, do you guys have? I mean, what are the timelines? I assume for Banyan Wallet would be probably even maybe go live first, and we'd probably delay this to go live when we release the new Meteor. So we'd have to get back to kind of what it's like here. Way past to map it out.
Cool. All right, I'd like to make some UI recommendations for the SBT if it's possible. And if we can go to I'm Human to show the SBT sections, I think would be really helpful. Your homepage, if you're logged in. Right, so if you scroll down to these, the SBTs, they have a token ID, an issue date, and expiration date. So I think those should be shown as details to the user, and we should also show how many days until expiration. And in the wallets, because we already have non-fungible tokens, these are separate from non-fungible tokens because they are not transferable. So there should be some sort of UI indication or a different section devoted to soulbound tokens. I recommend having a different section for soulbound tokens, but if you are going to put them in the same section of NFTs, there should be some, you know, visual affordance, perhaps a lock or some other affordance showing the user that these are non-transferable tokens.
Yeah, going off of that, there's also other information. I wanted to see what was that. So like say in the case for like a near.org profile, like would it be more appropriate to have a individual SBT section or just locks within under the NFT? Like I think
it'd be better to have its own individual sections in the boss profile for each users.
okay, what about like management of SBT? So like we have what about things like the class ID and the contract in terms of the details and kind of management like functions like soul transfer or like the option to burn and then people who are on the registry or like an ability to like kind of see the class or collection it's on.
Yeah, so I think a lot of those data is maybe too detailed for the average user, but what you probably want to be able to provide them is the option to soul transfer, because that is a use case for users where they want to essentially move to a completely different wallet. So they would soul transfer their entire SBTs to a new wallet, and the existing wallet is banned, meaning they're no longer able to provide to get any more SBTs. That is a use case. The option to burn, if you like to burn your SBTs, that is fine. Essentially, you would just destroy like your reputation building blocks for near. that's really up to the user, but I don't really see that as a common use case. I think more users will want to do SOL transfers because they want to move wallets.
Okay, and should there be
Is there
anything?
not a bit of a flaw in the SOL transfer? I mean, if you're saying, okay, if someone gets a SBT token in one account, but they can transfer it, but they essentially get blacklisted, I'm saying, in future for participating, but that wallet is still can be active. So, people could essentially just use random accounts, try to obtain some sort of SOL bond token for some sort of use case, or just sell it on or do whatever it is, transfer it. But the account has never been, I think its only intention is to get it once and kind of transfer it out.
I mean, okay, so can you kind of outline? So an issuer, there is an issuer that for SBTs that actually issue and they can revoke as well. And when the SBT is revoked, they can't do a SOL transfer on that. But can you kind of specify what it means for a SOL transfer? Is it that when a SOL transfer happens, every SBT that a wallet has gets transferred to a receiver wallet, or is it that one SBT? Like how does a SOL transfer work?
Robert, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so about transferability, right? So in fact, like we are also like discussing it a little bit, like should we like keep it that non-transferable or transferable thing, right? In the whole description. I think like the transferability should be like really avoided in the name, just to avoid any confusion. And I would say some wallets could add so like the basic idea is that we have revocation, which can in certain cases act as a transferability, right? So let's say I can revoke a SBT from you. Let's say I'm issuer, right? I'm a meetup organizer. You are belonging to the meetup I'm organizing, and I issued an SBT for you, but then you come to me and you say that, oh, you issued it for the wrong account. Then I can revoke it and then create a new one for an account you want to have it, right? So technically it's not a transfer, right? Because I'm burning one token and creating a new one. Right, but there are like options, right? Like, you can kind of, I wouldn't say move, yes, but have the sort of this transfer. And the other thing is the SOL transfer. The SOL transfer is really like you want to move a SOL from one account to another account, right? So,
So
this is also
individual SBT or all the SBTs under account?
sorry.
Like
all of them. Yes.
Okay, so in the event of a SOL transfer, it's basically like a pop-up should show up or something that's showing, hey, are you sure you want to transfer all of your SBT?
Exactly, because what technically it says is like, like from the name perspective, right? It's SOL bound, right? So there are a set of tokens which are bound to a SOL, which describes the SOL. So SOL transfers is like this this action where you transfer the SOL with all those tokens from one account to another one, making that the previous host, so the previous account, will be banned. That there is an economical cost for that, which basically is there to avoid token trading or this kind of things, or like even in the governance, right? Like you would rent the token for someone else, and we want to really avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, just one comment from my side. I mean, I don't know the technical nature of this, and even how I originally thought of someone tokens was the whole point is that it wasn't meant to be transferred in any situations. But like I said, I'm pretty ignorant on the subject. But my thing was, one of the biggest use cases I thought for SOL tokens was like you proving that a certain account has taken actions or done a task with it, like through education or through some sort of action. If someone can essentially, like I said, create an account, do the work, get the SOL token, and transfer it over to another account, it kind of removes, I think, a lot of the potential use cases of what the SOL tokens are meant to be used for. I don't know. That's just, maybe I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah, so use cases about that is usually that you have a multiple accounts and you act on the small multiple accounts, and then you decide that, okay, you want to really merge those accounts for whatever reason. or yes, you decide that one of your accounts is fake. It's like with your emails, right? You have multiple emails and you want to migrate from one email to another one, or any other identity you would imagine.
I have a question about how that's enforced. Like, how do you enforce that a sole transfer can only happen if all SBTs that a user owns? Is that all SBTs under a contract, or all SBTs under every soulbound contract must be transferred? Must also do a sole transfer for this to be initiated. That confuses me.
Right. Good question. So this is the motivation, yes, why we separated the so the model is constructed from two entities, let's say, or two groups, yes, the registry and the issuer. And exactly this is the reason why we made that separation, yes, from between the issuer and the registry. So because registry is separated and there are multiple registries issuing for the same registry, it's under then the registry control to block list, ban an account, and perform a sole transfer, yes, in a semi-atomic way. So like everything will be useful only once the whole transfer succeeds. And all tokens are transferred. There's also like an idea how to coordinate it between different registries, but this is now like beyond the scope.
Okay. It makes sense. I think this is it's good that we had this discussion, because that's something that someone wouldn't automatically assume about an SBT, especially like how the soul transfer behaves too, and then the banning of SBTs in the future. Is there anything else, or do you have kind of like the priorities of order of executions of like who you want to see support? I kind of made a list of next steps. I mean, I've hit up everybody. I hit up Meteor. That's y'all. I hit up Peer. You guys have conversation with near blocks. Indexer was mentioned in the chat. I also pinged them in a group chat. I pinged Midbase in the contracts work group. They were mentioning kind of the minimal soulbound interface for this. I responded to them today. And then also working on a gig. I haven't hit up Pagoda about query API implementation, but I can do that too. But do you kind of have like priorities or anything that we missed in the call?
Yeah, so in terms of what the users are asking, they're mostly asking for the wallets. They want to be able to see the soulbound tokens in the wallet. So I would just go down the list of wallets in terms of user base and make sure this, is implemented or is on their roadmap to be implemented. For the indexers, I think that is also really important. So the near block integration, I think we spoke with them right on that. So just following up. And I'm not sure the Pagoda indexer is still being maintained. But if it is, we probably should give them a heads up for that indexer as well. So yeah, wallets the highest priority, indexers the next, and then the rest of the ecosystem will be fantastic.
Yeah, I would even say that indexer and wallet are in the same category, because like wallet cannot support it if indexer won't support it.
Yeah, we making use of Indexer.xyz, so if you can push them, that'll be great.
Okay, so you're using what is your backend indexer? Is it near blocks?
And Indexer for the images.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, I'll ping them again about that and implementing there. I haven't hit up Sender Wallet about this. I'm also hitting up people about like the account export stuff too. So a lot of people are backlogged, but yeah, also we hit up, there's also Nearify wallet, and I don't think people are really using NAR wallets. Yeah, I'm gonna go through all the wallets. There's also Opto. But these are the main near native ones. Meteor here, my near sender. But yeah, put those next steps, make this recording available to them. Anything else or? All right. We got a live I am human onboarding going on in the background, so I'm gonna support with that. But yeah, thanks for coming out and see y'all later in the week.
Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you.